Here's the second takeaway. Be a student of the person you love. Be a lifelong student of the person that you marry. Sometimes we refer to the time when we were getting to know the person that we love as if we were only getting to know them a long time ago when the relationship first began. But while that is a crucial stage in a relationship, I have noticed that in marriages that thrive, men and women remain students of each other. They keep learning each other. In some relationships, the expectation, sometimes unspoken, sometimes actually spoken, is that the other person should never change. Why would I think that? Because if she changes, it requires me to adjust. It requires me to keep learning. It requires me to adapt. And the problem with that expectation is that the other person is not allowed to grow. You can't grow if you never change at all. Life is supposed to be a growth experience. Marriage is supposed to be two people growing together, which means they are both changing in some ways. Now, I'm not suggesting that every change is good. There are changes that are too drastic. Some changes are seismic shifts that destroy relationships. But every husband, every wife deserves the freedom to grow. And if you love him, if you love her, you will applaud the growth and you will try to grow with them. And if it costs you something to do it, if it costs you some familiarity, if it costs you some false assumptions, that's actually good. Because you know you love someone when it costs you something and you willingly pay the price. A book that has healed and grown many marriages, millions of marriages, is Willard Harley's classic book, His Needs, Her Needs. Say that title with me. His needs, her needs. We all have needs, and God knows that. If you and your spouse are struggling to get on the same page, if you feel like you're pulling in opposite directions, you should read this book. Men and women have many things in common, but the Bible actually teaches that men and women normally prefer to be loved in unique ways, different ways. Healthy men want affection, but more than anything else, healthy men want to be respected. Now, Aretha Franklin taught me that healthy women also desire R-E-S-P-E-C-T. But above all, even more than respect, my wife wants to be cherished. She wants to be important to me. And if I cherish her, I'll respect her. And guess where this truth is found? Not in Cosmo, not in Maxim, not on a podcast by someone who has ruined his or her own marriage. Listen to Ephesians 5:33. Paul writes, "Again I say," it's like, you need to hear this again. "Each man must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband." The greatest temptation for a husband is to be selfish. And when we love our wives the way we love ourselves, they feel loved. The greatest temptation for a wife is to try to take control. But when she chooses to respect her husband, he feels loved. That doesn't mean there isn't give and take. That doesn't mean there isn't partnership. None of the extreme versions of that are true or necessary or even healthy. But those dynamics have to be present. Look, don't ever say to your spouse, "Look, this is who I was when you married me. This is what you get. Take it or leave it." If you have friends who applaud you thinking that way or saying that to your spouse, what was that? Spouse? If there are people who are telling you you should feel that way and speak that way, then your friends are very likely fools with bad marriages. Don't listen to stupid people with unhealthy marriages. They still give advice, even though they shouldn't. But you should be wise enough not to take it. Instead, listen to God. Study your spouse. Love him, love her as they need to be loved. And watch what God does in your relationship.